Today we'll be focusing on text pages because most of you, I would assume, you're working in text pages most often. So if you actually are in this resource and you click text pages, it'll actually jump you down to the correct section. Today I will be focusing on just two different image sizes, the large image and then the image grid with 3 columns. So today I want to give you some hacks to make this as easy as possible. So I'm going to show you preparing images both in Photoshop, if your department has access to Adobe, or in Canva, which is a free resource that anyone could use and create a free version. So what I'm going to do first is my Canva demonstration. So if you've created an account, this is what it'll look like when you log in. This is the home screen. And what I'm going to do is show you a way in which you can create templates for yourself to make it easy to resize images. So how you can do that is, what I like to do is go to projects. I've created a folder for myself called CMS image size templates. And I find it the easiest to actually just build my templates within the folder I'm using. So you can organize this whichever way makes the most sense for you. You can create templates based on the types of images you use on a gallery page, for example. So you can do gallery image size templates or text page image sizes. Or for me, what I was doing was creating templates that are just the different image sizes for text pages, for example. So as you can see, I already created a medium image snippet and a large image snippet. You can see underneath that, these are the pixels that correspond to our CMS image sizes. So if we looked at medium, 320 by 213, that's the same as it is here. So I already created the large and the medium. And within Canva today, I'm going to create an image grid with 3 columns. So 227 by 300 pixels. As you can see, these have asterisks only because this is our recommended height. The height can actually be a bit flexible within these constraints, but I'm going to stick with the 227 by 300. So I'm going to create that template for that, excuse me, that image grid. So I'm going to go back to Canva, and this is the easiest way that I've found this to do. So I'm in the folder I want to use. These are my CMS image size templates. These are for text pages specifically. So I'm going to click Add New Design, and then Create New. And they actually give you, if you use Canva for other types of marketing materials, it'll give you, one for Instagram, one for a flyer, but for the most part, you're going to be using a custom size. So we'll click custom size. I'll go back to my resource and remind myself that's 227 by 300. The default's already in pixels for the units. So 227 by 300. Create new design. And this is going to be my image grid with 3 columns. This is the correct size for that. So what I'm going to do, it will have it listed as an untitled design because I haven't titled it with anything. So I will name this image grid 3 column. And now anytime I go back to this folder, I can just open up one of these templates. And if you want to create like a new page, you can duplicate this with, if you're editing multiple image grid sizes here, you can just use this as your template. And this will, that you don't have to resize anything based on a template. You can just plop your image on here, resize it, and that's the correct image. So the image I'm using is going to be a faculty image. I see a lot of the time people use image grids for, let's say, faculty or staff photos. So all you have to do here in Canva is drag the image to the template itself. And as you can see, this image is not the exact right size I need. So I'll just move the image here, and it actually will constrain the proportions for you. So all I have to do is, what I do is grab the bottom right-hand corner. I pull it to make sure it fills up that entire white space. I'll then kind of move it around to make sure that their face is in the middle of the frame. And that's all I do for my image grid size. So this image is ready to go, ready to be downloaded. So what I'll do next is I'll click Share, Download, and then I would keep this either within a PNG, or you can also change it to a JPG. I'm going to keep it as a PNG and click Download. And then here's my image right here. And it actually named it based on my template size. All right, so here is my resized image. And let's say I wanted to use the same naming convention as I have here. I'm going to copy it. And let's say I just want their name as the image right there. So I'm ready to upload my image. I go to my images folder. So I'm working under my test grace root folder in my images folder. And there's a few different ways you can upload images. You can drag and drop. And as you can see, this pulls up drop file to upload to this folder. I can do that. Or I can click upload, click add, and then I can find my image here. So it's this one right here. I'll click open. Oh, it's giving me an error. So it's an invalid file name. Okay, well, I'm going to click cancel. I'm going to just try that again. There must be a mistake. I'm doing everything correctly. Drag and drop. Okay, now I see again. The upload was aborted because it can't be uploaded. The reason, an invalid file name. And it's reminding me, oh, right, I can only name using lowercase letters and numeric values only. So I have to rename this file. So all I'm going to do is rename this with lowercase letters, and this is the person's first and last name. There we go. To caveat, in terms of naming conventions, you can name it however you find the most appropriate. So let's say, for my purposes, I'm just uploading a page with a lot of different faculty member names. I might just name it with their first and last name as my naming convention because I know it's going to be in an image grid. But let's say I have a faculty image of like the large group, I have an image grid, I have some other different size images. I could also rename it something like this dash image grid. It's however you find it the most useful for you and how you find it the easiest to organize. All right, so I'm going to leave this as is. I'm going to just drag and drop again, see if I named it correctly. Okay, I did. So the file was able to be uploaded successfully. And I'm going to go ahead and publish this image to production. I click on it, I clicked publish, keep it as production, and click publish. Okay, perfect. So I published my image. I'm ready to add it to the page, right? So I go to my page. And I'm going to show you two different examples like I mentioned today. So that image grid and that large image. So I'm going to go to edit. And again, something I am going to drill down today. Please, please, please put any of your images into a snippet. Really, for a text page, and this is kind of going off of images, any type of content really, as much as possible, should live within a snippet, unless it's plain text, for example. But for this one, I'm going to make sure I upload my image to the correct snippet. For a reminder, this is our WYSIWYG editor, or what you see is what you get. So essentially, however you're adding your snippets or your content to your page here is how it's going to look live once it's published. So I'm going to go to the puzzle piece icon. That's where all of my snippets live. And if you hover over it, you'll see it says insert snippet. So I know I'm in the right place. I'm going to click insert snippet. I'm going to type grid. There's my image grid. And it even gives you a preview of what it'll look like. I'll click insert. And again, I resized these to have 3 columns. If I go back to my image size resource, I'll see that depending on how many images I have in a column, it'll be different image sizes. So for example, if I have two images back to back right here on a column, they're going to be larger, and then they get smaller the more images you add across the page. That's because the page can't accommodate a million photos in here. So of course they have to get smaller to accommodate that workspace. All right, so I go back to my page. I will go to here, number of images in a row. I'll click on it and I'll click 3. And then this gray box is actually indicating how I upload my image into the snippet. So if you take a look here, nothing is highlighted in the toolbar. When I click on this gray box, my insert media will actually highlight. So if you take a look right here, once I click, there it goes. So I know this is where I need to click next to upload my image. So I'll click on it. So it's insert edit image, excuse me. I said insert media, but it's insert edit image tool. I'll click on it. A little shortcut here. All of your text pages should be set up so that your default image folder actually drops you into the proper images folder. If it's not, please send us a ticket and we'll update it for you. So a little trick here is to just clear this out. I'll then click my dependency manager right here. And there I go. It will actually spit me into the correct images folder within my test grace root. So then I'll need to, what I like to do, I mean, conveniently, this image is at the very top, but for now, I'm just going to start typing the name of the image. It was image grid. There's beautiful Terry there. All right. It looks like I'm done. Oh, wait, I'm not. For any image you add to the CMS, you need to have proper alternative descriptions or image descriptions. These are imperative for screen readers and to make it accessible on the page. We're required by law to have these updated. So what I'm going to do for this description is obviously describe the image. So this one's pretty easy. This is someone's headshot. So I know their name. I'm actually just going to copy it from my image over here to make it easier for myself. So what I'll do, I'll actually put their first and last name in the correct order. And I'll just put headshot. I don't have to touch anything else. Ignore all these other fields. I'll click save. Perfect. And again, maybe my caption will be just their name for now, because maybe later I want to add any of their contact info, but I'll just keep it as is right there, and I'll click save. Amazing. This is my 3-column image grid. Imagine 2 other faculty members right next to them looking great in their headshots. Okay, so I've uploaded my image. I've published a production, and now I want my supervisor, for example, to see my test page and make any edits. So what I'll do is I'll click publish. I'll go to my test server, my publish target, and click publish. Awesome. So I have my image uploaded to my page. Wait a second, that is not what it's supposed to look like. So this is a great example to show you why it's so important to publish to the test server. I didn't, and because I'm on the test site, my image is not appearing. So it looks so great in preview, obviously, but once I get to the test site, it really doesn't do me any good unless it's published to test. So I highly, highly encourage all of you to publish your images both to the testing server and the production server. So how do I fix this? Okay, well, I need to go back to my images folder, which I have right up here. I actually already have the image selected. So you see how I published it to production? I'm now just going to publish it to test. So I have it selected. I'll click publish. I'll change my publish target to test. Click publish. It'll show me here once it's ready. And then all you have to do is go back to your page. I'm just going to refresh my test site page. And there it is, looking great. So another reason why, very, very important, I would just make it a habit, publish to both test and production for all your images and really any content you do, just to make sure that everything is appearing in preview as it would on your test page. Okay, so we have this one image. This is for image grids. And I'm going to show you one more example and another, I think, even quicker way to resize images. So you can do this in one of 2 ways. So what I like to do a lot of the time, if I know that I've already, I've spent all this time making these templates, I've uploaded correctly to the proper snippet, I know that these things are sized correctly. So what you can do is actually, as a shortcut, if you know, and you have to double check, if you know that images are already uploaded correctly to the proper size that you wish, you could actually pull the image from the site and use that as your template itself. So this is our social media page. I actually updated this page. I know that this is the correct size for a large image in particular. So what I'm going to do, I'll get these images out of the way so I don't confuse myself. I'll actually just drag this to the desktop, and I can use this as my template. I'm going to show you both in Canva and in Photoshop how I can use this as my template. So I'm going to go back to Canva. I'm going to go back to, let's see, just go back to my projects. So what I'm going to do is just kind of upload this as my template. All right, so here's the image I want to use as my template. And all I'm going to do here is I click on it, and then I'm going to click Use in Design. So again, design as in my template or the place where I'm going to resize an image. Okay, so I know that this is the proper size for a large image because I'm the one who updated it. I know these are the proper specs, and if I want to double check, these specs for large image are 720 by 405, and I hope this works when I upload this. Oh, no, see, that's the wrong size. Of course I did this on the fly and didn't double check. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my templates. If I go back here to projects, there we go. So I'm going to go to my large image snippet template right here because I know it's already resized correctly. And then I'll show you this hack once I've done this one more time. So this is the image I'm going to use. So like I said before, we were doing kind of faculty headshots. Let's say we want to put different faculty members at the top of a page. So I'm going to resize this. All I have to do is the same as I did last time. I drag it to it so it fills out the white space. Move it up, resize it as I want to. And this is going to be my large image here. So I'm just going to do what I did before, was do share, download. I'm going to keep it as a PNG. And now we know this is the proper image size. So large image snippet, that's actually a perfect name because that's what I'm going to use as the template. So what I'm going to do here is do this correctly. So I'm going to just delete this because I don't really need to see this anymore. So again, I'm using this as my large image template, as you will. So I'm not even I'm going to change the name right here and just do large image template. I'm going to then drag it in here. I'm going to click on it within Canva and then say use in design. So as we saw here, this image was actually a bit larger than what I need to use. So you can keep the image here because you're actually going to overlay it with another one, so you won't see the one behind, but I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. But I know that this canvas is the correct size for a large image. So then I'm going to drag this image over, resize it. All right, that looks great. I'm then going to do the same thing I did before, share, download my image. And then let's say I want to use this image on my page. I'm just going to name this social media selfie, and that is the correct naming convention for that one. Okay, so let's say I want to do this on Photoshop. So this is just another way to do this. So I'm going to open up Photoshop. It's right here. And again, I'm going to look at my image sizes and look at that large image. It's 720 by 405. So if I want to do this as you would my first demonstration, kind of creating that template yourself, I'll do new file. Oh, new file. Oops, opening up in the wrong page. And right here is where I can change my dimension. So again, that's 720 by 405. It's in pixels, which I want to use. So I'll do 720 by 405. I'll click create. And this is my template that I want to use. Again, same thing you would do as Canva. I kind of just drag it over here. And I need to resize it. And on Photoshop, if you do have access to it, you'll need to remember when you resize, you'll have to hold the Shift key to keep those constraints in line. So I'll hold down Shift, I'll pull it. I'm going to maybe pull a little bit here to make it sure it's centered, and I'll click return. So there's one more step on Photoshop you need to do when you're saving for the web. So let's say this is my perfect image. This is what I want to use. I'll do File, Export, Save for Web. And then what you'll see is a few different options for presets. I'm going to keep it as a PNG 24. You can also do it as a JPEG or a PNG 8. I'm going to click Save. And I'm going to name this Selfie to Students. If I really want to kind of name it knowing what I'm uploading. And then it's saved on the desktop over here. So here's my image. And now I know that that's named correctly and it's ready for upload. Same thing for Photoshop that you can do is you can actually use that large image template to then resize an image. So here's my large image template again. All I'll do to do the same thing on Photoshop is I'll right click, open with Photoshop. All right, I know that this is the proper size for a large image. I'll then use, and now I need to find that image. This might be the same size, but let's say it's not. Okay. Let's say this came in larger than we needed to. All we have to do, and again, don't worry about that photo in the background because you'll be covering it up. You'll be putting it on top of this, again, canvas that we know is the correct size. I'll actually be shrinking this a bit right here, making sure it's covering all the white space. And there's my image again. Same thing I would do, File, Export, Save for Web. I'm going to click Save one more time, and then it will ask me to rename this. I'll do Selfie 2, and then it saves it to my computer, and I have that saved over here. Okay, I'm going to show you once again because it doesn't hurt to show you things more than once, so it kind of sticks. I'll go back to my images folder to upload this image. So I'm going to click Upload, Add, Selfie 2, and then start upload. And again, what I'm going to do is publish both of these, or excuse me, publish this one image both to test and production. So if you don't want to have to scroll all the way down to find that word selfie, I actually use the filter over here. And as you can see, if it has not been published to production, and again, I would publish it to test, it will show up unpublished in this status area. So I know that I need to publish to test and production. So I'll click on it, click publish, and it doesn't matter which order you do. You can publish to production, then test, or vice versa. It doesn't matter. I'll click publish. Making me wait a bit, probably because I have a few windows open. Of course, it's taking forever. If you ever run into this problem, what I do is I like to just refresh the page. Oh, there we go. It published a production. I just was being impatient. I'll filter again and write selfie 2. And as you can see, for status, it is published because we published a production, but don't forget, again, very important step, I would also publish to test as well. Publish a test. And I wanted to caveat here, we have been uploading to the staging server. That's very, very, very important. That is the only place you want to be uploading images on the CMS. And this is why. So I uploaded my selfie 2 image to the staging server and I published it. But let's say I don't want this image anymore. It's not something we're going to be using. What I can do is I can actually recycle it. And by recycling it, because I uploaded it to the proper server to start, when I recycle it, it means it actually removes it from all of the servers. So recycling from staging removes it from test and production. And I can actually show you this in real time. So here's my selfie 2 in staging. If I wanted to check and see if it's on the test server, I can switch my server to test. Let's see, I'll start filtering it. Okay, there's selfie 2, it's in my testing server. And the third place it'll be is in my production server. I'll just switch this to production. There's selfie 2, amazing. So it's everywhere I want it to be. But let's say I didn't need it anymore, or it was just getting in the way, I was using other images. I'll go to selfie, I'll click, and this is actually for users who have delete access. If you don't, just let your content manager know and they can actually recycle images for you. So I'll click on it and I have an option to recycle here. So I'll click recycle. Are you sure you want to recycle it? Yes, I do. I'll click recycle and it will vanish. Okay, so it's off of the staging server. Let's see if it's in my test server. It shouldn't be. So when I go to search for it, it's gone. Same with production. All right, it's wiped out, but do not fret. Recycling is also a great move as well. And again, uploading to the proper server staging, because I could actually retrieve this file for up to 30 days in the recycle bin. So it's like, oh no, I actually needed that selfie 2 image. we are updating our social media page and that was the perfect image we needed. So what you'll do is you'll actually go up to content. And again, this is if you have delete access, you'll go to recycle bin. And you can actually, usually what the easiest way to do is to go to the recycle date. So because I just recycled it, it's going to be at the very, very top here on February 13th. I'll click on it, and then I can either restore it to the original folder, or I can permanently delete this. You normally won't need to permanently delete anything off the recycle bin. Our team does that for you. Again, every 30 days, we will delete any files that are at least a month out. So you normally don't have to do this. You can if you're, you really for some reason want this image off of the CMS completely. But what I'm going to do is click restore. I'm going to go back to my images folder. And then once I start looking for it, there it is again. So there it is on staging. I'll go to test. It's not here because I didn't publish it to test. Or, I pulled it back out of the recycle bin. Let's see if it's on production. It shouldn't be. Yeah. Okay. So again, good thing to note. Once you recycle it from staging, it will then, wipe it from those other servers. But once I restore it back from the recycle bin, it's just that file within staging. So if I wanted to use it again, I would do the same thing I did before, publish to production, and then publish to test. Again, I know this is a lot of steps. You normally won't be uploading an image to immediately recycle it, to immediately be restoring it and republishing it. So this is a lot of steps, but just in case for some reason you come into that scenario, have no fear, you can get your image out of the recycle bin. I published it to production and now I'm going to publish it to test. Amazing. Now we're ready to go. I'm going to go back to our page and just show you how to add an image to a snippet, which is a large image. Once again, I'll go to the WYSIWYG editor. I will click here on the puzzle piece icon. I'll do large. You can either do image large or large with caption. I'm just going to do a large image. Same thing as you saw in the image grid. That gray box will appear, and then once you click on it, it will highlight that insert or edit image button. And again, if your default images folder is set up correctly, which it should be, I can clear this out, click on the dependency manager, and then search for my image in the proper folder, which I'm already in, selfie 2, insert. And so this is, obviously the image description is going to be a bit more detailed here because it's not just headshot. So what I'll say here is 2 students on the USF Tampa campus taking a selfie. I'll click save. I'll click save again. And here is my image. Looks beautiful. If you want to see how this looks on different screens, there's a really cool view you can do in preview. So right here I'm in edit. I can click preview. And then this box right here, it says open responsive preview. I'll click on it and it actually shows you what your page will look like on a desktop, a tablet, or a mobile device. So I'll click desktop. This is how my page will look. If I click tablet, this is how it basically just keeps shrinking it here. And then mobile view. So it'll actually move that grid from 3 across to 3 down as I scroll. And then there's my large image.